Alright, so a little bit of a, well, it's not going to be little. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's a big deal. Freya's Day update. And the topics have been coming through, but the topic to start with that has been coming through for a couple of days, and that I've known would be talked about today, and I'm just really feeling the Andaman energy come in here, so let me zone into that for a bit. The message that is important for a lot of you right now. The oldest souls are also in some ways the youngest souls. By youngest, we mean the most childlike. And by most childlike, we're indicating those who are most easily hurt at a deep, deep level by the adult world on this earth. You come in so pure, you're so ancient, and yet when we come in, we have to forget. Most of us have to forget. For very few, a gift is given that we come in almost immediately knowing. But for most of us, we have to forget who we are. We have to forget how ancient we are. We have to forget all that we've done in other lives, all that we've been. And this appears to us as time passed, and as we advance and we remember more, we see into the future, and we see ourselves, we see future selves, future versions of us. Not just human, not just in this world, not just on this earth. We become more and more aware of that, and we realize how ancient we are. But when we come in, all of that has to be forgotten, because that's the rule. That's how this third dimensional anchored existence is. We experience it as physicality, as the densest versions of the energies. The fourth dimension, time, feels like an illusion, but it's not an illusion. It's a way of keeping the third dimension from self-destructing. Everything would be happening all at once and smashing into everything else, and it would all be chaos without the fourth dimension of time. Humanity is just coming into a space where it is learning to master the third dimension and move into the fourth. This correlates with the fourth density, moving from the third density to the fourth density. We've talked a lot about how this idea of moving to the fifth dimension and waking up in the fifth dimension and living in the fifth dimension is not a real thing. That is a misrepresentation, a misunderstanding, and in some cases an intentional misuse of information that has come in, of wisdom that has come in. The fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions are tied together. The first, second, and third dimensions are tied together. The first, second, and third dimensions produce physicality. The 4th, 5th, and 6th are about time, about timelines, about sorting timelines, and about grounding in a central timeline, a keystone timeline, if you will. Much more can be said about this, and this isn't about, none of that is the point of this message. The point is the oldest souls of you are so aware of all this, and yet you come in having forgotten all of it. And the awakening that is happening right now is primarily focused on what we would call the oldest souls. However, you need to understand that there is actually no soul that is truly significantly older than any other. If you're human, then you partake of much ancient ancestry, much ancient star ancestry. And that is across the board. The difference is in how much of that we wake up to. How ancient is it that we wake up to it? And the more ancient threads of that we wake up to, a sense of weariness comes in with that very often. Because we look around at this complicated, way overcomplicated situation that we have on this earth plane. And most of it has already been solved. We've seen it in other lifetimes, in ancient places, non-earth locations that we've spent lives in. We know how easy it is to solve it all. We know it's all solvable, and yet there's so much dark negative energy cloaking things here, keeping so many of us asleep. Those of you who wake up to this ancientness are conversely the most childlike. You're the ones who see it simply, straightforwardly, and know how different it all could be in a moment if we all just choose. And you're told no. You're a child. Let the adults in the room talk. The adults in the room know that it's complicated. The adults know that it's not that easy. The adults know this, and the adults know that. And this message that has been coming through then moves into an important distinction of words between the adult and maturity. And we will take as our chief examples our previous 2 presidents in the United States, who are both elderly, so therefore must be adult, right? And are both immature. One patently immature, unable to control anger, unable to have positive relationships or build positive leadership. Someone who has come in and taken a bad world situation and thrown it into absolute chaos. The next coming in with pride, a lack of humility, frankly, significant challenges mentally, the inability to admit to that, and neither are mature. With the present circumstance, how can we not see this lack of maturity? How is it that a mature leader can say it's okay to send money all over the place to drop bombs on women and children, to support the suppression of the free speech of young people on college campuses? How is that possible? How is that maturity? It's not maturity. It is, however, adult. See the difference? Let the adults in the room speak. Let those who know make the decisions. You don't know children on college campuses. You don't know. Those of you who've managed to keep that childlikeness, or who have come back to it through your awakening experiences, you don't know what we know. The world is complicated. Let us decide for you. And how does this connect to the Freya energy? Well, Freya is one of the most ancient mother energies in existence on the earth. Perhaps is the most ancient mother energy. A soul so ancient as to be incomprehensible. And she looks out at this situation and sees these so-called leaders as the most immature people. And a true mother is all about maturity. A true mother doesn't intend to mother an infant forever. A true mother is interested in maturity in the infant, so that the infant grows up and learns. It's not about adulthood. Adulthood, turns out, has this toxic aspect to it, at least in this world, in this present situation that we're in, this bundle of timelines that we're on. Many of us are experiencing it differently from others, so do note this. And this is coming in another message. We need to really start thinking about timelines. You want to mature into a fifth dimensional perspective? Well, that's thinking about timelines. And the manipulation that is going on in the earth plane has to do with timelines. It has to do with manipulating timelines and foreclosing timelines via mass consciousness. A mass consciousness that tells us this is the only way it can be. We can only drop bombs on women and children in Gaza. That's the only way to solve this problem. It's the only way to solve it. The other side's worse than us, so it's justified. No. We can only have war in Ukraine. We can only deal, the West can only deal with Vladimir Putin through war, not through negotiations, not through understanding. There's no other way to deal with it. This is the only thing we can do. It's the only thing possible. When in fact, all of these things have been put onto the most likely trajectory for years and years and decades. Decisions made and grounded in, so that these things indeed have become inevitabilities on this bundle of timelines. The timelines are splitting right now. There are many different possible ones. Which one you're consciously aware of is the one that you're going to be in. The one I'm going to be in. There's going to be other versions of us that will be in other ones. Because consciousness is how timelines split. We sit in a timeline and share a timeline with others who have the same consciousness as us. And this is where mass media comes in. This is where the internet comes in. There's a lot more to be said here. Humanity is just touching on how these things work. And there's way more to it. But it's also extremely simple. And this is what Freya would bring to us today. It's all about love. It's all about peace. And it is all about light. What does that mean? Love is togetherness and unity, recognizing self in the other, any other. I told a story about a mosquito the other day. I have a mosquito, this time a female mosquito, literally sitting on my camera. I'm almost pointing at it with this little stick here. It is sitting here, not biting me. Might try to bite me now because I'm noticing it. We're having a little dance. See, even mosquitoes have a purpose in this life. Every being is growing. It's growing in its awareness. We sit in a remarkable place as human beings. As we become more and more aware of the other beings around us, they see themselves in us, and their consciousness grows too. And that changes that little tiny, tiny, tiny soul compared to us, right? We're so big. No, we're not really, but we think we are. And in some ways we are by comparison. Love is knowing that. Love is seeing through an open heart chakra everything else. And even that mosquito that bites me and I end up swatting it, we know something deeper. We know something deeper about it. We have a higher awareness. And that is moving into fourth dimensional awareness, a fifth dimensional awareness, on up to a sixth dimensional awareness. Many of us think we're becoming more aware because we can see how bad other people are. That is not awareness. That is not the awareness we're looking for. The awareness is to see how much somebody else is in pain and maybe causing that pain for themselves and for others. To draw proper boundaries for our own lives, because we are in this life, but also to see something deeper, to see other possibilities and to move towards those possibilities. This is where peace comes in. I've seen someone recently opposing peace to passion and claiming that passion is the thing and peace is nothing. Well, peace is passion at standstill. Passion is peace on the move. And then we get to light. A proper understanding of light knows that the darkest place is in the center. That beam of light, just like this branch, the darkest place is inside the light. Light and darkness are one. They're not different. And an understanding of that allows me to take in way more light than we were before, and to see even the darkness within us as light. And when the darkness within us is light, then we are truly, truly full of light, and that light can beam out. And that's the message today. If you're on a path, journey, awakening, coming to a higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it, however that's playing out for you, you need some support, reach out to me. The description will have ways to get a hold of me. More things are planned. Community is planned. We'll see how those things shake out. Do appreciate any likes, comments, sharing, subscribing to the when this is on YouTube, if you see it there, if you see bits and pieces of it elsewhere. Appreciate you coming back to YouTube and at least subscribing, even if you don't view there. And right now, just wishing you all the love, the peace, and as much light as you can stand. Even the darkness inside of you, may it be light to you. Sending it your way right now.